Hello and welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Fara Sax. It's Aventura Marketing Council time. We spotlight a new member, we spotlight old members, current members, and today I am joined with a member I have never met before, and we are in South Miami together. Joining me today is County Court Judge Chiaka Ihekwaba. She is on the 11th Judicial Circuit Court of Florida. Thank you so much for joining me today, Judge. And I was practicing all night, like as if this was a mantra to get your name right. And it's a beautiful name. And I just can't wait to get to meet you and know you and learn more about what you do and how you do it on a daily basis.
Thank you very much, Farah, for inviting me here. I'm very happy to be here.
And when we talked before, we're neighbors.
Yes.
We don't live too far from each other. So
absolutely.
I bike in the area where she lives and it's so exciting. I probably waved to her a couple of times and she didn't even know it was me.
I would hope I waved back.
Of course, you're a very loving person.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you were, where you are now, and your steps here. Because were they in the States? Did you grow up here?
No, I did not. I came to the States when I got married. I was born in the United Kingdom. I am of Nigerian origin. My parents are Nigerian. And so I lived in England for a while, but still as a young child, my parents then took myself and my siblings back to Nigeria. So I grew up in Nigeria as well. I actually, went to school there, high school, college. I did, law school. I went to law school in Nigeria. I became a Nigerian attorney. And I worked there for a couple of years. And then I decided to go back to England, to live and to further my education. So I did that. I went back to England. I got myself a degree, a master's degree in law. And then I started working in England. So I worked in the legal field for a few years. And then I met my husband. And my husband at the time was in Canada. And we decided to get married. And, I didn't want to go to Canada because I felt it was too cold. And he didn't want to go to England. So we decided, to come to America.
Why not Miami?
I know. And
that's a great compromise. I don't know how that happened, but okay.
Yeah, but that was, trust me, it was a compromise. And so we came to Miami, and I have been here ever since.
And how many years have you been here?
It's now going on to 26.
26 years. Wow.
Yes.
So what is it like to grow up in Nigeria, go to England, go to the States? How different is each of these places? I mean, it's such a cultural potpourri.
Yes, but I think my experience kind of tells everyone that, we are more alike than we are different, because I was able to live in all these three places without much difference, really. Human beings were all alike. We're all the same. We all want the same things. We all want to, live a nice life and be able to do things and interact with people. And, that is the same wherever you go. So for me, it wasn't too much of a difference. Yes, some cultural things are different, but basically, life is still the same.
And what did you do before you became a judge? So you had your degrees and you worked, and how did this pattern happen that you worked your way up? I mean, girl power. God bless you.
Thank you, Farah. Well, when I came here, because of course my background was all law, I wanted to remain in the law. And then I found out that I had to go back to law school, that even though I had these degrees, America is completely different. And, I understood that. And so I had to go back to law school. So I went to St. Thomas University. I did get some credit, so I only did law school in 2 years. And right from the get-go, I knew I wanted to be a prosecutor, because when I was in England, I had worked for the prosecutor's office as well. So I came here with that knowledge that, that's what I want to do. I want to do public service. And I just felt being a prosecutor and helping victims ensure that our community is safe is really what I wanted to do. So I finished law school, and I started working at the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office under, the leadership of Catherine Fernandez Rondell. And I was there for like about 20 years until I was appointed.
You sure you're your age? I somehow think that you're like 25.
Oh my God, Farah, not at all. Trust me, I am as old as I look.
25.
Oh, well, thank you, but no, yes.
So you worked under Catherine Rundle, and then what
Yes.
happened from there?
Okay, so I worked under Catherine Rondell for all the time. When you start in the state attorney's office, you rise. So I did, all the, units. I started off in misdemeanor court. I went to juvenile and then felonies. I became a felony division chief. I started doing serious cases. There was, as a division chief, I specialized in homicides and death penalty cases. And I did all that, and I did organized crime. And it was at that point, that Governor Ron DeSantis then appointed me to the county court bench. That was in June of 2020, and I've been a judge ever since.
What was some of the hardest cases you tried? And when you do your work, I mean, can't be easy. I mean, you're a family, you're a mom, you have a family, you have a husband, you have 5 kids.
Yes.
2 twins. I mean,
a set of twins, yes. Well, and Farah, the most difficult cases for me, a lot of people ask me, oh my God, how were you able to do those homicide cases? And I tell them, you know what, those homicide cases were not the most difficult cases for me. The most difficult cases for me were cases involving children. Because you see, children are not like adults. A lot of children cannot really articulate the way they feel. They can't really speak for themselves. They're reserved, and so for me, it was really difficult dealing with a case where a child is a victim, especially a victim of sexual abuse. And those were the most difficult cases for me to handle. But as I said, I did some of those, but I decided not to specialize in that area because truly, to me, those were very difficult cases. So that was why I prefer to do cases like, homicide, where, the victim is gone, but you can try and do your best to assist the family and get justice for them.
I wonder if your background growing up in Nigeria, living in the UK, did that help you solidify yourself as a woman, as to this moment, as a judge, as a mother, of having those experiences growing up? Did you see any of this growing up of crime and of bad things, human to human?
Well, not more than the average person.
So where does this hot button come from? Where does this drive come from for you?
I just wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a difference in my community, and based on the path that I chose, I just felt that was the best way you could, as an attorney, make a difference in your community. How better to do it than protecting the community, making sure the place where you live and your friends and neighbors around you are safe. And, if anything does happen, then you can make sure that, you make sure justice is done. And I just felt, it was a calling. I just wanted to do it. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do it, and for the length of time that I did it.
Your parents must be very proud.
Oh, thank you. I hope they are. I think they are. I think they are.
As a judge, what kind of cases do you handle now?
Okay.
On the bench?
So right now, I'm a civil judge.
Tell our audience what kind of cases happen.
Okay,
in civil.
so as far as civil cases are concerned, as a county court judge, you handle landlord and tenant issues, which is, a real hot button issue right now.
Is this because of the COVID and
It is
people
because
were
of
they couldn't be evicted and on and on and on and on. Look at
Yes.
wow, that can go on for years, right?
Yes, it can. And because of that, we had an explosion of cases because you have, these tenants who most of them lost their jobs and of course couldn't afford to pay their rent. And, they lost their jobs as a result of COVID. And then so they're in their homes and they can't pay their rents. And so then you have the landlords, of course, who, they're trying to also have, make money for themselves
They have
and
to
their
pay their
families. They
mortgage.
have to pay their
Mm.
mortgages, and then they have these people there that are not paying the rent. So it's such a difficult situation. It has been because you see what's going on from both sides. You empathize with the tenants, but you also understand where the landlords are coming from. So it has been really difficult, this COVID era. But we also handle contract and indebtedness cases. We handle a lot of PIP.
What?
Personal injury protection cases.
PIP?
We call them PIP. And really, we do anything that walks into our courtroom because right now our jurisdictional limit is 30,000. So if you have a civil claim for anything 30,000 and below, you walk into county courts and it would come across, it could come across my desk. So
but you were during the time of COVID. It's like pre-COVID, COVID,
Yes.
post-COVID. Where we are right now is we're in person, but before you were doing it through Zoom, or were you closed down? How did the system work, and how backlogged can you possibly be right now?
Well, believe it or not, I was appointed during the pandemic period. So
somehow, that just seems like very appropriate because you can land on your feet. You just seem like the type that'll land on her feet always.
Well, thank you, Farah. I must say it was quite difficult because everything was by Zoom. The training you get is by Zoom. Then the hearings are by Zoom, and everybody was learning how to deal with Zoom. And with technology, because we were not originally set up that way. Of course, when you're breaking into such a thing, there are little hiccups here and there. So there was a learning curve. But I'm happy to say I do not believe that the court system closed down completely for any substantial length of time. We were like up and running. We had all our hearings over Zoom. The only thing that we had problems with were having jury trials. So there was a period we were not having jury trials, but let me tell you, we had bench trials, non-jury trials, all the time over Zoom. We had every hearing over Zoom. And in fact, now that we are gradually getting hearings over Zoom, some of the, short ones, we have a calendar called 5-minute motion calendar. We are completely leaving that over Zoom because, I don't know why, but when you think about it, really doesn't make sense for you to just drive down somewhere for a 5-minute hearing.
But we were doing that.
We were doing it.
So we've learned. We've taken our lessons well, I guess.
Absolutely.
Also, I hope we learned them, right?
Yes, I believe we have. We're trying to make everything better, now for everybody, for the attorneys, for the people. So it's kind of a win-win situation. We're going back to having in-person hearings for the hearings that should be in person, the trials and lengthy hearings, and then we're keeping the Zoom hearings for the short ones, which benefits everyone.
I love it when efficiency is everything. And I'm glad that the pandemic, if nothing else, taught us to become efficient and more organized.
Yes, for sure.
All right, let's talk about activities you're involved with in the community.
Right.
One thing we have in common that I know, we were both Girl Scout moms.
Absolutely. Look, let me tell you something. I loved being a Girl Scout mother. I mean, I loved the season of selling cookies. All I would tell my friends, okay, so I'm going to be outside this Publix. Please come. And I would take the cookies to work. And everybody knew me in the criminal courthouse. I mean, I was selling those
And I
cookies.
know your daughters probably won a lot of prizes
Oh,
because you know a
yes.
lot of people.
Oh,
I was a
yes.
Girl Scout leader, and it was just so much fun. We'd stand in front of the Publix, but one time they double booked the Publix,
Oh,
so this mother started like attacking me like I was in high school, and
I
it was,
know.
and the
I
kids are
know.
watching us. So it was like, oh please, one of us is just we'll take this part of Publix, you take that part of Publix, and we'd
Exactly.
all sing Kumbaya. And
I know. We had those at times too, but in our case, no one had to leave because it was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a competition, but in your troop you always wanted to try and get your troop to sell the most of.
listen, for me it was competition. And I admitted as a leader, my troop had to win and we had to be number one in
I
South Dade,
know,
okay?
I know we were all very driven, but I really liked the Girl Scouts because it gave me an opportunity to also be in the community, but at the same time, it enabled me show my kids, my girls who were troop members, what it was all about, what being a Girl Scout, what service was all about, and it gave us a variety of things to do. Today you were cleaning the bay, tomorrow you were helping the homeless. I mean, there were so many things that we did, and I loved it.
I loved it too because I've never been really a teacher, so to speak, and it was finding things for the kids that would be interesting. They earn their little badges, but I think
Absolutely.
it was good. It's a great place for kids to start.
I think so too.
I wish I was a Girl Scout when I was a little girl.
I was when I was a little girl, so that
Really?
was
Were you a
why.
daisy?
No, so first of all, I was when I was in Nigeria, and we called it the Girl Guide. So it's the same.
Guide?
Yes.
Girl Guide. I love Girl Guide to Life.
Right. So, but it was the same thing, Girl Scouts, Girl Guides. And so that was why, I told my kids that I did that as a child. It was very fulfilling for me. And I recommended that they do it. And, we joined the Girl Scouts and they loved it too until they kind of grew out of it.
So it was very interesting when I was the Girl Scout leader for one of my daughter's troops. I noticed that the kids they look at you. They look at you. They want to know what you're doing,
Right.
how you're doing it, how you react in situations like what I was explaining about what happened in Publix. I hope she's a very happy person too. but now, as a mother, you're a mother of 5.
Yes.
Do you find your children look to you and like you? They're looking for guidance. They see this strong woman that is very well accomplished. I mean, there are lessons there for them to learn.
Oh, absolutely. And I think as all mothers do that, all mothers, because really your children look to you first. I know people say, oh, they look to their teachers, but believe you me, they look in the home first. So they look at their parents, and especially if you're a woman with girls, they look to you to see what you're doing, how you react, what your values are. So I think it's very important as a mother that you should show that good example. The saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, it's true. So if you want your apples to be good apples, you need to show them good examples, good leadership. And I feel that, I have 4 girls and 1 boy.
Oh, God bless your husband.
And so I really felt that responsibility of showing my kids, good values, but at the same time showing them strength and showing them, in their career that you can be whatever you want to be. Don't let anybody limit you. Just reach for the sky, and it will be your limit if you know.
I love that.
Yes.
So, what kind of activities are you involved with outside of the Girl Scouts
Um,
of the community?
so right now I'm involved in everything you can imagine.
I can only imagine.
It's wherever I'm needed. You have different organizations that call you to go to events, and you go and support. The other day, I was at the Jack and Jill oratorical contest. Another time before then, I was at the Honeybugs,
Nice.
you know, activity as well. So it really, it's a variety of things. So now I really just get involved wherever people ask me to get involved, whatever it is they need me to do. I do my best to accommodate and assist in all kinds of programs.
Do you sleep well at night? Do you sleep much? Do you have
Well,
time to sleep?
I was going to say I try, of course. I have to take care of myself, because if I don't, then I'm not going to be useful to any of these organizations or any of the people or even the cases that I hear. So
How do you take care of yourself? I'm always curious how people take care of themselves. What
um,
does that mean?
I try to eat right. I try to eat healthy. I try. It's been difficult of recent, but I try to get in a lot of time to exercise. I used to walk every day. I used to. I haven't walked in a while,
That's
but
why I haven't seen you on the trail.
most likely that's why.
Mm.
But no, I really do think for us as individuals and as for women, we shouldn't neglect ourselves, because a lot of women tend to think we can do it all. I'm not saying we do a lot of things, but if you don't take care of yourself, they're not going to, all these other people that rely on you are not going to get the best out of you. So I try to always take a step back and, remember, okay, I need to do this for me so that everyone around me realizes that, okay, yes, I am the best of me that I can be.
That's great. It's good to take that time. I love to go to Fairchild because it helps me just ground myself.
Right.
So it's a very important time to take care of oneself.
I think
What would
so.
you want people to know about the work that you do currently?
I would want people to know how serious it is and how everybody is really trying to make sure that we make the right decisions. At the same time, for them to know that, sometimes as a judge, people just think some of our decisions, it's easy to hand them down. No, there are some decisions that are very difficult for us to give, but we have to follow the law, you see. And I like to use the example of the landlord and tenant cases that I hear. There are times I have to evict people. I have to grant, eviction orders. And I see some of the people, they're going through really difficult times. They have a host of reasons why, they would want not to be evicted, but the law is not on their side. And the other side has done everything that the law requires them to do. And so, in cases like that, my hands are tied. I just have to follow the law and do what is expected of me. But you hear some of the tenants, they don't understand that. They're like, Judge, why are you doing this to me? And it's not a personal thing, it's not a personal decision. It's just, as a judge, I have to follow the law, and this is what the law says should be done at this point, with all the other factors. So I would like people to understand a lot of times that a lot of judges, it's not anything personal. We just have to follow the law and do what the law requires us to do.
Is it sometimes hard though? You're human. I mean, there's emotions, and how do you have that split from who you are as a person, as a judge, or maybe there's an integration?
Well, it is very difficult. And of course, as you said, you are human. There are days you have cases and you come out and you sit and ponder and you think, oh, wow, is there anything I could have done different? But if you make sure that you follow the law as you are supposed to, you do the research, then at least you can be satisfied that, yes, I did take a hard stance. I made a difficult decision, but I did it knowing fully well that that is what I am supposed to do, you know? And I do believe there are different ways of getting your message across. The way you talk to the tenants, if you give them the time and explain to them, most people do understand. I found that, if you do explain to them, because remember, in the county court, we deal with a lot of self-represented litigants, people that don't have lawyers. We do small claims cases, and you don't need a lawyer for that. Anybody can just come in. And I found that a lot of people just want to understand the process. Many of them have never been in a courtroom before. They don't know what is going on. If you, as a judge, take time to explain the process to them, explain to them how it's working, tell them why some of the decisions are being made, they get it. They might not like what's happening, but they appreciate that you took the time to explain to them, and they no longer feel as lost as they felt when they originally came in. So I found that that's very important.
That's wonderful. And what is important for you to be serving on the bench? Why is it so important? Especially now during it's re-election. She's going to be up for re-election.
Farah, there are many reasons why I think it's important for me to be serving on the bench, but one of the main ones is diversity. If you look around in Miami, I mean, I call Miami a melting pot. There are so many different cultures, people, all in this wonderful city. And I firmly believe in, if you see it, you can be it. And I do believe that, all sections of our community should be represented. And that was something that before Governor DeSantis did the appointments, recent, when I say recent, in the last 2 years, that was kind of lacking in our community. I think prior to December of 2019, we had only one African American female judge in our entire county.
Wow.
And yeah, we have a lot of judges. So
I
to
love
have
that.
only one was really lacking in diversity. But Governor DeSantis, he in December of 2019, he appointed 3 African American female judges, and then in June he appointed me, and since then we are now 6 African American judges, which
Kudos
I
to
mean,
you.
yeah,
Kudos to you.
it makes a difference. I mean, more can be done, but we are very grateful. We are now 6, and I do think that's what our community needs, to see that all sections of our community are represented. So I was really happy to be up there, so that people who look like me see me and know that, okay, so there is someone that looks like me and who most likely will understand some of the issues I have. And apart from that, I can also be an inspiration to the younger kids coming up, who, when they look and they see them, like, okay, she's there, I can be there. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
You definitely are their role model
Oh.
for women, men, me. When I grow up, I want to be you.
Oh, thank you, Farah. But no, I love the job that you do as well.
What community topic are you most passionate about?
I'm sure you won't be too surprised to hear anything really that concerns kids. I want to see our kids thrive. So I really am interested in all issues that, concern children, especially education, and, health, anything for them. So, of course, with having 5 kids, I have been members of quite a few PTAs in quite a number of schools, and I just like making sure that our kids are kept safe. Our kids are able to thrive. So anything, that's why a lot of the activities I go for involve kids as well. But of course, I'm interested in all kinds of things, but kids are my passion.
I love that. And in the time that we have left, I know you're in the North Dade area.
Yes.
What is it about the county that, or to our audience in Aventura, that you would like them to know about you? And when is the election coming up?
So our election is in August of this year. And yes, I am running for to retain my seat, because once you're appointed, you have to then run at the next general election, which is August
So
of this year.
it's like been 2 years almost.
Yes, it will be 2 years by the time that the election comes around. And I just want people to know that, especially the people of Aventura, whom I love. I love the city of Aventura. There's so much around there, especially around the courthouse. I just want them to know that we are there, we are open, and they should. Of course, we want to see anyone who feels that they have a case to please come, and we are going to ensure that justice is done, justice is served on both sides. I just want the people to know, get to know not only me, the other judges, the community, the legal community around there, but to let them know we are there for them. And, we'll be willing to help if you have, a case, a small claims, a county court case. Please just walk in, and I can assure you that we are there to make sure that everyone gets their day in court.
Well, I am so glad I had this day in court with you.
Oh, thank
It was a
you.
great way to network.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming in and being with me today.
Thank you for inviting me. I mean, this is very exciting for me. I don't know about other people, but I'm very excited to be here.
But Judge, I got to tell you though, you got to get back on that trail. I got to see you on the trail walking.
Absolutely. I promise you, I am going to pick up and I will be walking and hoping to see you too.
Thank you so much again for your time. And I want to thank you all for joining me. And till next time, be safe, be happy, and have a great day. Take care.